Unbelievable. Nelson Asofa-Solomona gets arrested just hours before Grand Final. Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Unpopular Aussie Opinions, where we dive into the most controversial and intriguing stories in Australian sports. Look, what I am about to tell you today is absolutely mind-blowing. We are talking about an incident that has rocked the rugby league community just hours before one of the biggest events of the year, the NRL Grand Final. Nelson Asofa-Solomona, the towering Melbourne Storm forward, has been arrested. Yeah, you heard that right. Just hours before the Grand Final. Let us unpack this unbelievable situation. For those who might not know Nelson Asofa-Solomona, let me paint you a picture. This bloke stands at 202 centimetres tall and weighs around 120 kilograms. He is not just a player, he is an absolute beast on the field. Known for his explosive runs and intimidating presence, he has become absolutely crucial to the Melbourne Storm's success over the years. His contributions have been pivotal in securing multiple premierships for the club, and he has represented New Zealand on the international stage. In short, he is a player that fans love to watch and opponents absolutely dread facing. Now, let us get to the meat of this story. Just hours before the Grand Final showdown, news broke that Nelson Asofa-Solomona had been arrested. The timing could not be worse if someone had actually planned it. The Grand Final is not just any match, it is the pinnacle of the rugby league season. This is where dreams are made and shattered, where players cement their legacies, and where fans experience pure excitement and anticipation. So what the hell led to this unexpected turn of events? Reports indicate that Asofa-Solomona was taken into custody following an altercation at a local venue. Eyewitnesses claim there was an argument that escalated quickly, resulting in police intervention. It is still unclear what exactly transpired, but the fact that this incident occurred just hours before such an important game raises serious questions about accountability and professionalism. Like, what was he even thinking? Now, I can already hear some of you saying, he is just a young bloke having a good time. And look, I get that sentiment. These players are human beings who want to enjoy themselves. But we have got to consider the responsibilities that come with being a professional athlete. These players are not just representing their clubs, they are role models for countless young fans across Australia. They are under constant scrutiny, and their actions have significant repercussions, not just for themselves but for their teams and supporters as well. This incident has sparked a massive debate among fans and commentators. On one hand, some argue that athletes are entitled to enjoy their lives and have fun like anyone else. After all, they work incredibly hard and dedicate countless hours to training and preparation. They sacrifice so much to get to this level. However, on the other hand, there is a growing expectation for players to conduct themselves with professionalism that reflects their status as elite athletes. Where do we draw the line? Let us take a step back and examine the broader implications of this incident. The NRL has been working tirelessly to improve its image and promote a culture of respect and responsibility among its players. With various initiatives aimed at addressing issues such as alcohol abuse, violence, and mental health, incidents like this can undermine those efforts and set back the progress made in recent years. It is frustrating because the league has been making genuine strides, and then something like this happens. Think about what this means for the Melbourne Storm. They have spent the entire season working towards this moment. Every training session, every game plan, every sacrifice has been leading up to the Grand Final. And now, just hours before kickoff, they potentially lose one of their most important players. Not because of an injury on the field, not because of illness, but because of an off-field incident that was completely avoidable. How do you even begin to prepare for that as a coach or as a team? The impact on team morale cannot be understated either. Imagine being a Melbourne Storm player, preparing for the biggest game of your career, getting yourself mentally ready, and then you hear that one of your key forwards has been arrested. That has got to mess with your head. It creates uncertainty, it creates distraction, and at this level, those mental factors can be the difference between winning and losing a grand final. From a tactical perspective, losing Asofa-Solomona is massive. His presence in the forward pack provides the Storm with go-forward momentum, intimidation factor, and defensive solidity. He is the kind of player who can change the momentum of a game with one big hit or one powerful run. You cannot just replace that kind of impact with someone off the bench. The opposition would have game planned for him all week, and now suddenly the Storm have got to readjust everything on the fly. But here is what really gets me about this whole situation. The timing. Just hours before the Grand Final? How does that even happen? Professional athletes at this level know what is expected of them in the lead-up to big games. They know they need to be focused, rested, and ready. They know that the eyes of the entire rugby league community are on them. So what possessed Asofa-Solomona to put himself in a situation where an altercation could occur? That is the question everyone is asking. Now, we need to be careful here because we do not have all the facts yet. We do not know exactly what happened in that altercation. We do not know who started it, what was said, or what the circumstances were. It is entirely possible that Asofa-Solomona was not the instigator. It is possible he was defending himself or someone else. We have got to wait for all the information before we completely crucify the bloke. That is only fair. But even if he was not at fault for starting the altercation, there are still questions to be asked. Why was he out at a venue just hours before the grand final? Why was he not at home, resting and mentally preparing for the biggest game of the season? Even if you are completely innocent in an incident, putting yourself in that environment at that time shows questionable judgment at best. The NRL is going to have to make some tough decisions here. They have got their code of conduct, they have got their integrity unit, and they have got a reputation to protect. But they have also got one of the biggest games of the year about to kick off, and the question of whether Asofa-Solomona can play is going to dominate the pre-game coverage. Do they make a quick decision to ban him? Do they wait for the legal process to play out? Do they let the Melbourne Storm make the call? There is no easy answer here. This incident also raises broader questions about player education and support. Are clubs doing enough to prepare their players for the pressures and temptations that come with being professional athletes? Are they providing adequate support systems to help players make good decisions off the field? Or are they so focused on on-field performance that they neglect the personal development side of things? These are uncomfortable questions, but they need to be asked. Let us also consider the fan perspective here. Melbourne Storm supporters have been waiting all year for this moment. They have bought their tickets, planned their grand final parties, got their jerseys ready, and now they're facing the very real possibility that one of their star players will not be taking the field. That is devastating for them. They have invested emotionally and financially in supporting their team, and this kind of off-field drama is the last thing they deserve. The opposition fans, meanwhile, are probably feeling a mix of emotions. On one hand, they might be thinking this gives their team a better chance of winning. On the other hand, you want to win a grand final fair and square, with both teams at full strength. You want to know you beat the best version of your opponents, not a depleted side dealing with off-field chaos. Here is my take on this whole mess. Professional athletes need to understand that their lives are different from everyone else's. That is not fair, it is not always fun, but it is reality. When you sign up to be an elite athlete, you sign up for different standards and expectations. You get paid handsomely for it, you get fame and recognition for it, but you also give up certain freedoms that regular people take for granted. That is the trade-off, and if you are not prepared to make that trade-off, then maybe elite professional sport is not for you. At the same time, we as fans and as a society need to recognize that these are young men, often from tough backgrounds, who suddenly have money, fame, and pressure beyond what most of us could imagine. We need better support systems in place. We need clubs to take player welfare seriously, not just player performance. We need the NRL to invest in education programs that actually work, not just tick-box exercises that look good in press releases. This incident with Nelson Asofa-Solomona is going to have ramifications that extend well beyond this grand final. It is going to reignite debates about player behaviour, about the NRL's disciplinary processes, about club responsibilities, and about what we expect from our sporting heroes. Those are important conversations to have, even if they are uncomfortable. Whatever happens in the grand final now, whether Asofa-Solomona plays or not, whether the Storm win or lose, this incident will be part of the story. It will be part of the legacy of this season. And that is a shame, because the grand final should be about celebrating the best of rugby league, not dealing with avoidable off-field drama. What do you reckon? Is this on Asofa-Solomona for putting himself in this position? Or is there more to the story? Should the NRL let him play while the legal process unfolds? Or should they take immediate action? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next one.